Thank you so much for coming today. We'll go ahead and start our practice coming into a comfortable seated position. You can always take that into a crisscross applesauce or let the legs extend out long. Maybe bring a bend into the knees, letting the feet rest on the floor and your elbows rest on your legs. You could have a prop like a pillow or a block under your hips to give you just a little bit more of a forward pelvic tilt, if that feels good for you. And as you start to settle in here, maybe you close your eyes, or maybe you simply soften your gaze. As you start to find your most easeful position. Really wiggle and settle in. And then we'll begin to sense the surfaces underneath of us. The items that are supporting our weight. Noticing if your feet are making contact with the surface, maybe the backs of the legs or the glutes. Noticing the connection, maybe with the back of the trunk or the head or the arms. Or lack of, maybe it's air that you're feeling, touching those places. But taking a moment to notice where you are connected to the things around you, where you begin and they start. And then start to notice where the body is in space. Maybe where are the parts of your body in front of you, noticing the space around the front of your body. And then noticing the space between your arms and your torso. Space between your knees. Space between your ankles. Maybe even noticing the space between your ears and your shoulders. Or how about noticing the space in your mouth and around your tongue? And for a brief moment, can you notice the overall state of your thoughts? You don't need to push them down or even resist them. What we resist persists. Because when we ignore them, sometimes they can become stronger. So watch your thoughts. Maybe there are stories even going on or emotions in your body. And just smile at them and know that they are there. And if you find one story really taking you away, you can gently acknowledge and celebrate the fact that you noticed the mind wandering. And then simply come back. Come back to the body. Notice the breath. Noticing the physical sensations. And noticing the surfaces connected to you. And the space around you. Part of self-compassion during our time here is whenever you notice your mind not present, maybe see if you can smile. Celebrate that you noticed instead of any self-critical thinking. And come back into the body. Celebrate and smile. Allow what will be. We'll start to take our breathing exercise for today. Through this breathing exercise, ocean breath, we'll breathe in and out through the nose if it's available. And if it's not, that's okay too. Just imagining breathing in and out through the nose. We start to create a little constriction in the back of the throat, just enough that as you exhale through the nose, if it's available, you'd fog up a mirror right underneath the nose. Breathing in fully. And we'll take about 5 rounds of this breath on our own. Breathing in and breathing out. Letting that slightly audible sound on our exhale release. This breath is not only great for building a little heat and letting a little heat off in our body, but also in relaxing the body and mind at the same time. So we'll take one last ocean breath. And then simply allow your breathing to return to its natural rhythm, noticing whether that feels high in your torso or deep in your belly. Today, we're going to talk about allowing. I'll share a poem by Donna Fowles. There is no controlling life. Try corralling a lightning bolt, containing a tornado. When you dam a stream, it will create a new channel. Resist, and the tide will sweep you off your feet. Allow, and grace will carry you to higher ground. The only safety lies in letting it all in. The wild and the weak, fear and fantasies, failures, successes. When loss rips off the doors of the heart, or sadness veils our heart and vision with despair, the practice becomes simply bearing the truth and the choice to let go of your known way of being. The whole world is revealed to your new eyes. Donna Fowles. So as we take this one last moment of our opening meditation together, maybe setting an intention of allowing, of going with the flow throughout our practice today, and maybe even beyond. We'll take a moment to offer ourselves some gratitude that we took time out of our busy schedules to slow things down and be with ourselves today, to allow. And then, as you're ready, begin to wiggle fingers and toes, and flutter the eyes open. And let's add just a little bit of movement into our practice. So we'll start by gently coming into hands and knees. And then let's take it into a child's pose where we can rest our forehead, maybe on a pillow or a block. Bring your hands out long in front of you. The knees can be wide or together. You could even have a prop under your hips if you'd like. And then start to drop the forehead, maybe towards the floor or maybe towards a prop. Letting it rest against the prop as you stretch your arms out in front of you. Take just a couple of breaths there. And then start to find some gentle movement through the neck. Rocking your forehead left to right on whatever surface you chose. Really feeling not only the connection of where you stop and where the prop begins, but also seeing if you can allow the sensations in the body to be aware without judgment. Beautiful job. All right, find a little bit of stillness through the neck and the forehead. And then as we inhale, we're gonna roll up to our tabletop. Bringing the knees under the hips and the hands under the shoulders. As we settle in here, take just a moment. Feel free to add a little cushion under the knees if you're feeling like feels like you could need a little bit. And then we're going to take a spinal balance. So we'll start to send the right toes back. You're always welcome to keep them tucked on the ground or start to lift them off. And then start to send the right arm, the opposite arm, sorry, the left arm, the opposite arm. And send that long alongside your ear. Reach and point your toes and fingers in opposite direction. And be mindful not to dump into one hip or shoulder, but try to keep the shoulders and hips similar to that tabletop experience. With your next 3 exhales, I want us to round through the spine, tucking elbow towards knee. Again, you can keep your toe on the ground for a little more support. And then as you inhale, send it back long. Take this at your own pace. Beautiful job. All right, after that last one, extend long. And then we're going to take it to the side, the arm in a cactus and the leg in a fire hydrant lift. Great job. Send it back long. And then exhale to bring your hand down to the mat in a tabletop. And then take your right foot out to the right side in a gate press. As we inhale, we'll lift up into gate. Great job. From here, let's swivel the arms, letting them float up and overhead as much as feels good for you here. And then let's bring our right hand to our right hip. Really keep your left shoulder pulled back towards the wall behind you. And with an exhale, we're going to start to lean over towards the right side. You're always welcome to bring that hand down the leg if you'd like, or keep it at your hip. Beautiful. Let's inhale, let the arms float back through center. And then with our exhale, come back into tabletop with the upper body. And then we'll sink our hip down towards our heel, keeping that left toe tucked there. And the upper body kind of child's like or downward dog here. Getting a nice stretch through that outer right glute and hip. Great job. With our next inhale, roll it back through tabletop. And we'll take that second side. So left leg starts to come back. Right arm starts to extend by the ear. Pointing fingers and toes in opposite directions. Make sure you have your balance. Next 3 exhales, find that rounding through the spine. Elbow comes to knee. After your third round in, extend out long. Exhale, bring it to the side, cactus and fire hydrant. Inhale, extend it long. Exhale, drop the right hand. Take the left foot out to the side. Inhale, gate pose. Exhale, left hand to left hip. Right shoulder spirals back. Lean it down. Inhale to float it up. Exhale, tabletop in the arms. And then sink your hips back towards your heels as you find that child's like pose in your upper body. Great job. Inhale, return to tabletop. And then let's bring our right leg forward for a low lunge. Keeping both knees bent. Your hands can stay framing the front foot, or maybe bring them up to your knee. Maybe bring them up to a prayer. Maybe start to let the hands float up by the ears. Sinking those hips forward. And then start to take your gaze up to where the ceiling meets the wall. And maybe you stay there, or maybe you start to take it into an even deeper back bend, taking your hands and your gaze behind your head. Great job. Exhale to release. Let the hands come down to frame that front foot, and then straighten that front leg as we take a half runner's lunge. We'll peel the toes back towards the face. Inhale to extend the spine long. And then as you exhale, hinge over that front leg. Great job. Rolling back through to your crescent lunge or your low lunge. And then let's take it back into tabletop and switch sides. This time the left leg comes forward. Set up, take your time. Maybe bringing hands up at some point. Maybe taking gaze where the ceiling meets the wall. Or maybe taking it into a deeper back bend. Inhale to roll back through your low lunge, and then we'll take it into our half runner's lunge. Straightening that front leg, peeling our toes back. Inhale to extend your spine long. Exhale to hinge over that front leg. Great job. Let's inhale to roll through low lunge. And then step it back for tabletop. All right, from our tabletop, we're gonna find our way into a standing position, getting there in our own time, in our own way, using any props that feel appropriate to do so. All righty, we'll come into our mountain pose. Let's inhale and circle the arms up and overhead, reach them up, maybe even look up. And then with an exhale, rain those fingertips down as we come into a forward fold. Hands resting on floor, prop, or legs. Keep a nice generous bend in your knees. Let the top of the head sink towards the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Come into a figure seven, gaze stays down, legs start to straighten just a little bit, but not all the way. That doesn't feel great for you. Really engage your core here. Exhale, hinge, and go a little bit deeper into your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Hold here for just a moment, really engaging through your core. Exhale to release. This time hands can stay on your prop or maybe grab opposite elbows. As you take a ragdoll, you sway a little left to right. You let your hips move, your knees move. Maybe even start to shake your head a little left and right, forward and back. Eventually finding a little bit of stillness. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, root to rise. Tall mountain, take it all the way up. And then with our exhale, we're going to twist towards the right from the hips, opening up one hand behind us and one hand in front of us. Great job. Inhale to come back through center. Exhale to twist it to the left. Inhale to come back through center. Exhale, we cactus the arms. Great job. Inhale, lift them up. Exhale, let them float behind the back where we'll take a bind, interlacing fingers, opposite wrist, opposite hands, opposite elbows, or even just simply grabbing your shirt behind your back. Really draw your knuckles down as you lift your heart, lift your gaze, roll the shoulders back. Beautiful heart opener. With our next exhale, we're going to hinge back into that forward fold. Hands can stay at the hips. They could lift off or they could release down to your prop for a little extra support. If you chose to lift your hands, we'll go ahead and lower them to our hips. And then we'll all lower our hands back to our prop of choice, floor, legs, or prop. Our next inhale, we're going to halfway lift, and then we're going to pause there, engaging through our core, straightening through the legs just a little bit. And with our next inhale, let one or both hands rise up out to the sides into a figure T. Beautiful job. With your exhale, take your hands by your hips, airplane arms, palms still face down. And then as we inhale, bring your hands to a prayer at heart center, interlacing the fingers. And as we inhale, we're going to extend the arms coming out from the top of the head and pointing the fingers away from us. Really engage your core here in that figure 7 position. You're doing a wonderful job. One more breath here. Exhale to release into your forward fold. Beautiful job. Bend the knees, sink the hips, take a slow roll up to mountain pose. Letting hands rest by your side. Beautiful movement there. Alrighty. From here, we're going to take a standing downward dog. So if you have a piece of furniture or a wall nearby that's about hip height or a little bit higher, we'll bring our hands to our shoulder, about shoulder distance apart. And then start to walk our hips back, walk your feet back, bending into that familiar downward dog shape. Start to bend through the knees, shift your weight left to right, really press into your hands, lengthening through the spine and arms and shoulders. Great job. Find a little bit of stillness in your own time. With our next inhale, we're going to shift the weight to the right foot and lift those left toes. Again, always welcome to keep them touching down or start to lift them up a little or a lot for a 3-legged dog. As we inhale, bring your knee towards your nose and round the spine. Exhale, send it back, point the toes away from you. Take 2 more just like that. At your own pace. After your third time extending, go ahead and pause there. Start to bend that left knee and open that left hip as you look out under the left arm. Great job. Exhale to release to downward dog. Take a few moments, pedal, release your wrists, take any movement that you need, and then as you're ready, settle back in to your variation of downward dog. Inhale, right leg lifts, three-legged dog, pointing toes away from you. Again, we want to make sure our hips are not open here, that our hips are neutral, parallel to the ground. Inhale, knee to nose and round. 2 more times on your own. Beautiful job. Bend the knee, open the hip, look under the arm. Great job. Bring it back long. Exhale, downward dog for release. Inhale, mountain pose. You're doing a beautiful job today. All righty. From here, let's step it out wide. A little wider than hip distance. We'll keep the heels in, the toes out, and as we inhale, we'll come up to 5-pointed star. Really taking fingertips and toes in opposite directions. We're going to go through a squat flow here. So we'll go through it once and then we'll go through it twice. So that you get a little familiar with the flowiness of it. So feel free to listen through this first time, really allow yourself to feel the movements. As we exhale, we're going to bend into the knees and bend into the arms for a goddess squat. Shallow squat in the legs, cactus arms. Inhale, 5-pointed star. With our exhale, we're going to go to moon, our sun god, bending through the knees, arms come out to the T, palms face down. Inhale, 5-pointed star. Exhale, moon god, we bend into the knees and the elbows come past a cactus, squeezing in by the hips. Great job. Inhale, 5-pointed star. All right, we're going to take a nice one-legged squat towards the back of our space. Your hands can come down to a prop or your leg as you bend into that right knee or the back knee. Inhale, 5-pointed star. Take it towards the front knee. Great job. Inhale, 5-pointed star. Go ahead and bring your heels in line with your toes. And with your next exhale, hinge into a forward fold. Noticing how that feels through the back of the body, the calves, the hamstrings, etc. Press into your hands wherever they're located, lifting up halfway. Inhale, arms to a T. Like a plane propeller, we're going to drop the left arm as we reach the right arm up. And then reverse, right arm down, left arm up. Inhale to come back through center, arms to a T. Exhale, airplane arms. Inhale, prayer, interlacing fingers. Inhale, extend it through the top of the head. Inhale to come up to standing. Great job. Let's go through that sequence again, turning toes out, heels in. Exhale, goddess squat. Maybe see if you can sink it a little bit lower since you know where we're going. Inhale, 5-pointed star. Exhale, sun god. Inhale, 5-pointed star. Moon god. Inhale, 5-pointed star. Toes come out in front of the heels. Hinge into your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, arms come out wide to a T. Left hand down, right hand up. Right hand down, left hand up. Back to a T. Airplane arms. Hands to a prayer. Inhale, extend from the top of your head. Inhale, 5-pointed star. Exhale, squat towards the back. 5-pointed star. Almost done. Squat towards the front. Beautiful job. 5-pointed star. Exhale to release, step it in, mountain pose. Alrighty, we're doing a beautiful job here today. With our next exhale, let's sink it into a chair pose. Maybe bring hands to a prayer, and take them out in front of you for counterbalance. Exhale, sink it in a little bit deeper. And let's take it to a twist to the right. If you're taking prayer, keep your hands at prayer, maybe hook an elbow on the knee. If you're not taking prayer, maybe bring one hand to your knee and one behind you. Back through center. Twist to the left. Back through center. Inhale, tall mountain. Exhale, pinwheel the arms to the right as you twist. Back through center to the left. Back through center. Cactus. Inhale, tall mountain. Exhale, release for the bind at your back, switching up the grip though this time. So whichever thumb you took on top last time, switch it up somehow. Exhale, hinge into your forward fold. Maybe lifting hands off hips, maybe not. One last breath here. Hands are lifted, lower them to hips. Hands are on hips, lower them, releasing to your prop. Inhale, halfway lift, figure 7. Exhale, fold. Inhale, tall mountain. And let's bring it down through a prayer into mountain pose. Beautiful job. Let's get a little bit more into that lower body here with one more series of flowy poses, seeing if you can allow your body to move how it wants to. Go ahead and step that right foot back, high lunge. We're bending through both knees here. Maybe hands stay at a prayer at your heart. Maybe they start to float up towards the air, overhead. We're squeezing our thighs together. We're bending through both of our legs. Our core is engaged, pulled back towards our spine. Our next exhale, we're gonna pinwheel the arms, twisting towards that front leg. Kind of combining a few of the things we've done so far. Inhale to come back through center. We'll crescent lunge. Straighten that front leg. Exhale, hinge and forward fold. Pyramid pose. Hands frame that front foot on the floor or in some props. Great job. With our next inhale, we'll come back up to crescent lunge. We'll exhale to open out wide into a warrior 2, dropping that back heel towards the mat as we bend deeply into that front leg, pulling our hands out wide to the side. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Exhale to come through to side angle, bringing your front hand or elbow to your knee and extending that back hand overhead. Inhale back through your warrior 2. We're gonna take that back hand. We're gonna flip our front palm so it's facing towards the right. And then we're gonna take that back hand, bringing it all the way towards that front hand. Once they make contact, we're gonna pull a bow and arrow, arch your arms slowly across the torso, extending it back. Take it 2 more times at your own pace. Noticing that twisting through the hips. Noticing what's happening in the shoulders, the spine, the neck. Exaggerating your movement. Beautiful job. Last time on this side. Once the backhand reaches back, we'll then lift the back heel, coming back into our high lunge. And with an exhale, let your hands drop and wrap to frame that front foot. And we'll begin to lift those back toes off for our grounded warrior 3. Those toes can stay off just a little bit, or you can lift them up to hip height. Or maybe even higher if you want to try a standing splits for just a moment. And then find some stillness. We're going to take that extended leg. We're going to tuck it behind the standing leg as we come into a shrimp squat. We curl into a little ball, bringing our chin down towards our knees, towards our chest. And then as we inhale, warrior 3 or standing splits. Take this for 3 cycles of breath. Great job. Your next exhale, release into forward fold. Halfway lift. Hold. Inhale, tall mountain. Pinwheel twist to the right. Pinwheel twist to the left. Inhale through center, exhale cactus. Inhale, tall mountain. And then we're just going to bring it down through a prayer as we move to second side. Taking left foot back. We're in our high lunge first. Take your moment here, set your foundation. Maybe arms float up. Our exhale takes us into a twist towards the front leg, arms wide. Inhale back through center, straightening the front leg. Pyramid pose, forward folding over that front leg. Inhale, high crescent. Exhale, opening to warrior 2. Reverse your warrior. Exhale, side angle. Inhale, warrior 2. Now we're going to find our archer arms. Palms face forward. Back hand comes to pull the archer arm. Take it slow, methodical, as you allow your body to move without judgment. After that third one, open up. Inhale, crescent lunge. Exhale, circle the hands down. Lift the back toes for warrior 3 or standing splits, your choice. Keep a nice bend in that standing knee. Exhale, shrimp squat. 3 times. Inhale, extend. Last one. Extend. Exhale, forward fold. Beautiful job. From here, we're gonna bend into the knees, sink into the heels, or sink into the toes, and start to come down onto the mat. You have done a really beautiful job today. Take a moment to notice how the body is feeling. And then as we exhale, bring a bend into the feet, knees, feet on the floor. Grab a prop like a pillow or a block, and then roll down onto your back, letting the heels scrunch in towards the hips as much as possible. We get ready for a bridge back bend. As we inhale, we begin to press the hips up towards the ceiling, curling them up, lifting the glutes. Now you can take that prop, sliding it under the hips and then letting the hips come to rest on the prop of your choice at whatever height. So if you want to go a little deeper, you can do that. If you want to go a little shallower as well, that is a great option. Our next inhale, lift the right knee, hug it in, create a little compression at your hip. And then extend the toes towards the ceiling. You can hold on to the leg if you want. You can use a strap if you want, or you can just let the leg hang out. We're going to point and flex a few times through the ankle. And then let's take them in a circle in one direction. And then the other. Beautiful. Go ahead and bring that foot down to the mat. Inhale, left knee hugs in. Inhale, extend foot to the ceiling, point and flex. And then start to take some ankle rolls in one direction. And then the other. Great job. Exhale to bring that foot down to the ground. Bridge pose. And as we inhale, we're going to squeeze our glutes, lift them off our prop, remove the prop, and roll down one vertebra at a time into our constructive rest. Feet a little bit wider than hip distance. We'll take a gentle rock left to right as we come into a windshield wiper. The next time the knees are to the right, we're going to pause there. You can keep the knees staggered or you could stack them. You could also bring in some props here if you'd like. I'm going to take a final twist. Your gaze can go in any direction that feels good for you. Or maybe you close your eyes here, sinking back into a rhythmic breath. Rhythmic breathing pattern of your choice. Something to focus the mind as you simply allow yourself to be here and to breathe. No self-judgments. Releasing anything that's on your mind for later today. It'll still be there when you're done. Inhale to windshield wiper the knees left to right. The next time the knees are to the left, stay there, making any modifications on this side or adjusting it differently if it so needs. Anytime you start to notice your mind wandering, remember that self-compassion we talked about at the beginning of class. Bringing a smile to your face that you recognized and notice that your mind is wandering. And then simply bring it back to the focus of your breath, the connection you're making to surfaces or the air around you, or the sensations of the body and breath. Beautiful job. Let's go ahead and come back through center. We're gonna cross the right leg over the left leg. And then we're gonna cross the right arm over the left arm. Giving yourself a hug here, or maybe coming to eagle arms if that feels appropriate today. Just giving the shoulders a nice widening breath, opening up through the lower spine, creating internal space. Exhale to untwist and unwind. This time the left leg over right, the left arm over right, or switch it up from the other side. One last reclined eagle, spreading the back, spreading the spine. Beautiful movement. Your next exhale, release. Hands down by your sides. Uncross the legs. And we'll come into our final resting pose of your choice. You could come into a constructive rest or a corpse pose. If you'd like to bring your legs up the wall, that's always a great option. But take any movements, any adjustments, any props, so that you can start to come into this place where you can relax on command. As you're ready and settling in, intentionally take a deep breath, filling the lungs to capacity with air. And then pause, take in one more sip of air, and then feel the intentional release into your final resting pose. Releasing inward. Maybe you close your eyes once more. Maybe you simply soften the gaze. As you once again start to zero in on the connections between you and the surfaces that are supporting you. And then dial it in even deeper and notice the connections between you and your heart space. Know that you also are supporting yourself in the most loving and kind ways. Breathing in and breathing out. Begin to empty out physically, emotionally, and mentally, letting it all go so that you can truly dive inward. Take a moment to ask yourself how you're feeling and notice if you're tense or resisting. See if you can let those muscles purposefully relax as you allow yourself to surrender to our final moments together. There is beauty in allowing. Even though we know life cannot be forced, it is still something we subconsciously sometimes do. We need to learn the beauty and necessity of simply allowing. Sometimes we feel that we need to change to be someone other than we are for others. But when we allow ourselves to be who we really are, we are the most beautiful of all. Flowers don't go out searching for bees. Instead, they blossom just as they are. And the bees come willingly to land on their petals. It is the same with our hearts. When we're allow ourselves to be ourselves, we allow love and life to find us. But just like we're allowed to be ourselves, we're also allowed to change and evolve. How often have we heard a friend or family member say, "You're not yourself today," or "You've changed so much through your journeys"? We can know that these phrases are not bad, but rather signs that we are human. A natural part of existence is change. In fact, change is the only constant in life. Our existence creates patterns that others see and sometimes come to expect or depend on. But then we break these patterns when we grow and evolve. Let us honor our changing selves and the changes that other people make in themselves. Let us remind those around us that there will always be more to know and love about them and ourselves. And let us celebrate the one constant in life: change, by allowing. So as we take these final few breaths together, feel who you are in this moment. As you breathe, know that you are changing. But remember that you are allowed, and you can allow. As you breathe, know that this love, this allowing, is a quality with the sweetest nectar. If your mind wanders, smile, acknowledge, and come back into the space of your breath. Come back into the space of allowing with a smile and love. Beautiful job. Continuing to breathe, allowing yourself to sink even deeper into the rhythmic breath of allowing.
We'll take the deepest breath of our day so far. We once again notice the surfaces that are supporting us, and the air that surrounds our skin. As you're ready, start to wiggle fingers and toes. We'll flutter the eyes open, and in our own time, in our own way, we'll start to come up to an upright position facing you. Thank you so much for joining me today and allowing. I hope you have a wonderful week ahead of you, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.